I'm Rachel, the owner and creator here at the Eclectic Cottage in Spokane, Washington. Today is Saturday, and the last few days have been a bit of a whirlwind for me. So I was only able to pull off a couple pretty simple makeovers for today's video, but I really do love how they turned out. I hope you guys do too. I will explain more about my week at the end of the video, and without further ado, let's get to today's projects. My first simple project for today is this set of pillar holders that I picked up a while back at Goodwill. And I love the height of these and the fact that they don't have that little pokey thing on the top for the candle. But I really didn't like the two-tone look of them. So I am starting off by giving them a coat of Rustoleum 2X in Espresso. Now, the reason I'm doing this is because I had planned on doing some distressing on these, and I like to have an even coat of paint underneath when I'm doing the distressing. I ended up not doing a whole heck of a lot, so it was probably honestly a little pointless. But at any rate, I had a nice fresh brown coat to start painting over. And for these, I'm going over that brown with DIY's Crinoline. Now, this took me 3 coats of the Crinoline, basically, I would say 2.5 coats. Honestly, the third coat was just to cover up a couple shadows where you could still see a little bit of that brown. But I like to just paint in a circular motion kind of around my candlestick so that the brush stroke marks all go in the same direction. And I just put, like I said, 3 coats or 2.5 coats of that crinoline paint on each of these pillar holders. Now, as I've mentioned before, DIY paint is clay-based and it can be reactivated with water, so you want to make sure and seal it. And my go-to sealer most of the time are waxes. So for this, I just grabbed my DIY clear wax and I am putting 1 good even coat of that clear wax all over both of these pillar holders, just using my soft brush to apply and then wiping back the excess with a dry shop towel. Just trying to be very gentle when I'm wiping that wax off so as not to rub through the paint down to the brown too much. I decided I wanted to bring out the details in these pillar holders a little bit more, so I ended up grabbing out my DIY dark wax and just a small little brush and brushing some of that wax just into the cracks and crevices on these pillar holders. So I'm just working my way up the pillar holder, adding a little bit of that dark wax into each one of the crevices, and then gently wiping back the excess with a shop towel. Once I was finished with this on both pillar holders, I did decide to go back with a little bit of sandpaper and do a tiny bit of distressing on some of the edges, and then these guys were finished. I love how they turned out, and I hope you guys do too. My second project are these 2 frames that I had in a stack that I'd brought from our garage. And they had staples in the back to hold the artwork in. So my first step was trying to push all those staples up to get the artwork out of each of them. Then get the glass out and set that aside. And once I was done with that, I needed to clean them. These were really filthy because they had been in my garage for probably a year or so. So I rinsed them off in my sink and then just wiped them down with a dry shop towel so that I could get started painting them. Now, somebody had already painted them over, they used to be gold, and so they'd painted over the gold with this plain gray. And so I am just going over that with DIY's little black dress. Now, my little black dress is super thick, so I used my mister bottle to spray all the sides and help get that paint down into all the little nooks and crannies on these. It's amazing what a little bit of water can do when your paint is too thick. So again, I just worked my way around both of these frames, and it only took one coat of the little black dress to cover. Now, I'm also going to be using wax to seal these, but rather than clear wax, I am going over these with white wax by DIY. Now for these, I went directly over the little black dress with that white wax, just brushing it again on with my soft bristle brush and working it down into all of the nooks and crannies of this piece. This brought out the detail so beautifully. And then I am just gently wiping back the excess wax with that dry shop towel. I had also gone ahead and painted the back of these frames just because whoever painted them with the gray made a sloppy mess all over the backs of them. So I also needed to wax the backside as well. So again, I'm just applying a very light coat of that white wax all over, making sure it's nice and even, and then very gently wiping back the excess with my dry shop towel. I did the same procedure for the second frame, and then I was ready to move on to working on the insides of my frames. For these, I'm going to be using the beautiful new decoupage paper by Redesign called Festive Cardinal. I absolutely love these two images, and I knew as soon as I saw them that I wanted to put them in a frame. So I am using some watercolor paper as a backer for both of these birds, mainly just so that I have a nice white background so that my images really stand out. So I'm gluing that watercolor paper onto my backer board with some spray adhesive, and then I am tracing out the cardinal because they're just a little bit smaller than they need to be to fit inside the frame, and I really didn't want a bright white frame around them. So I just drew out where I needed to fill in with a little bit of black paint, and then I'm just using my little black dress to go along that line. I did the exact same thing for both frames, and once I did put them down, I realized I needed to go along the top and the bottom as well. So you'll see in the final product that I actually ended up having to put like an 1/8 of an inch line of the little black dress along the top and bottom as well. But once my little black dress was dry, I just hit it with a little bit of that clear matte spray by Rustoleum to seal it. Then I went ahead and added a little bit more of that spray adhesive so that I could attach my decoupage paper to that white backer board. And then this piece is ready to go in its frame. Now, unfortunately, my first one that I was trying to put back together, I didn't see one of the little staples sticking out. And when I pressed down on the piece of glass, I broke it. So I ended up putting these in their frames with no glass, but I think they turned out just fine as they are. Then it was time to mount the second piece of decoupage paper to the watercolor paper. And so again, I just sprayed it down with some glue and then adhered it to that watercolor paper and smoothed it out. Then it was time to put it back into the frame, and I did go ahead and leave the original art in here just in case somebody wanted to flip these back around so that they could have them hanging on their wall all season. All that's left to do is add some hangers, and these guys are finished. I love how they came out. I hope you guys do too. And just remember, if you want to create something like this for your own home, I have several different Redesign with Prima decoupage papers available in my shop, and it's www.theeclecticcottagespokane.com. That is it from here for today, you guys. I hope you liked my relatively simple makeovers for today's video. I think they turned out great. I just was so disappointed when I accidentally broke the piece of glass for that one frame. I just didn't see that little staple still sticking up there. I knew as soon as I heard that noise, you guys, it was over. Anyway, I also hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please remember to give it a thumbs up. I so appreciate that. And if you haven't already, I would love it if you would subscribe to my channel and then just hit the little notification bell so you don't miss anything. And then don't forget to drop a comment below and let me know what you thought of my projects today. Just a quick reminder, the paint and products you saw me use can be purchased through me at my website, and that's www.theeclecticcottagespokane.com. I'm currently out of the Festive Cardinals decoupage paper by Redesign. However, they have so many other beautiful options, so I would encourage you to check those out if you have any interest on my website. There's still one of the packs that has the bunnies, there's trucks, there's angels, there's little villages, just so many cute options that you can use to do something similar and put into a frame. I also carry DIY paint and products, and my order of the new colors is on its way, so I'm so excited to get that and be able to show those to you. I just got in my Sweet Pickins milk paint order, so everything there is restocked, and I also carry recycled decoupage papers. Now, as far as my week has gone, you guys, as you know, we've been trying to get our house ready for sale, which we did. We actually ended up under contract this past week, so signing of documents to get that done. We're waiting for inspections and appraisal and all that, so hopefully, fingers crossed, everything goes smoothly. We also have been out fervently looking for homes, because if everything does go well, the new buyers of our home want us out by the 16th of November, so we need a place to go. And then my brand new beautiful granddaughter Alice was born 2 nights ago, so we got to go visit her. So it's just been a crazy few days, and so I just didn't get to spend nearly as much time in my kitchen creating as I would have liked. I'm really hoping tomorrow to get to go out on a junk run, so hopefully between whatever I can find tomorrow and what I already have from last Sunday, I will be able to put a thrift haul together for you guys for Wednesday's video. So keep your fingers crossed for me that we find some good stuff. And until then, you guys, I hope you have a fantastic rest of your weekend and beginning of the week. And thank you so much for being here. I very much appreciate it. And I'll see you on Wednesday. Bye.